Good morning, friends of WELL. My name is Victor Griego. I am the founder and president of WELL, Water Education for Latino Leaders. Welcome to our valuable and informative webinar this morning. This is our third webinar in a series of 5 WELL webinars ending in June 2021. Today we have over 125 folks signed up for this webinar, including, of course, our target audience of elected officials. We have sponsors, we have water professionals, and other guests. We're excited to co-host this webinar with the LA County Sanitation District and with partnerships of the Metropolitan Water District, the Water Replenishment District of Southern California, LA County Public Works, and the Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District. Before we start, though, I'd like to have you join me in a moment of silence for those individuals and families who have been impacted by COVID-19. We here at WELL have lost one of our longtime leaders, San Joaquin City Council member Jose Ornales, during this COVID-19 season. So I'd like for all of us to just take a moment here. Thank you. I would also, before we get started and turn it over to our moderator, I'd like to invite all participants this morning to our 2021 May 27th annual conference. The title is Water, Jobs, and a Post-COVID California Economy. You can register at www.watereducation for Latino Leaders. Our website the website is latinosforwater.org, www.latinosforwater.org. I'm excited to introduce our moderator, Martha Tremblay. Martha is the department head at the Los Angeles County Sanitation Districts. Her department oversees the LA County Sanitation District's reuse program, and she is also serving as the project manager for the Regional Recycled Water Program for the districts, which we'll learn all about this morning. Martha has been a tremendous ally of WELL. She's been a presenter at several events with us, including our WELLOS, our Untapped Fellowship Program. She helped host a tour of the Cards facility during our conference in Long Beach 2 years ago, and she was one of our speakers of the Stormwater Capture and Treatment seminar we had in 2017. So with that, welcome Martha Tremblay as our moderator. Martha?
Oh, thank you very much, Victor. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this panel discussion on the Regional Recycled Water Program. This is an ambitious program being done in partnership by the Metropolitan Water District and the Los Angeles County Sanitation Districts, along with other partners that you're going to hear from today. This project will increase our water reliability since it provides a new source of locally available water. And we're very excited in that recently the Metropolitan Board and the Sanitation Districts Board has approved moving forward with starting the environmental studies, the CEQA studies. So you will be hearing more about this project soon. So we hope you find this webinar informative. So our panelists today are Robert Ferrante, the Chief Engineer and General Manager for the Los Angeles County Sanitation Districts. We have Devin Upadhyay, Assistant General Manager and Chief Operating Officer for the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. We have Mark Pestrella, the Director of the Los Angeles County Department of Public Works, Rob Whitaker, Water Replenishment, the General Manager for the Water Replenishment District, and last but not least, Jennifer Santa Ana, Board Member of the Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District. So each panelist will have an opportunity, they'll give a brief presentation, and please, as you listen through the presentation, if you have questions, please go ahead and type them in the Q&A box down below on your screen. And there'll be a question and answer session once all the presentations are done. Please also, if there's any technical difficulties that you see, please also note them in the Q&A. We'll be monitoring that to make sure that everyone has the best experience possible. Also, all the slides will be sent to all the webinar participants, and the video of this webinar will be posted on the WELL website, on the YouTube channel, and social media. So you'll be able to have access to the slides and see the video if you want in the future. So now let's go ahead and start with the first panelist, Robert Ferrante.
Thank you, Martha. Hopefully everybody can hear me and see me. Good morning to everybody. Thank you for joining. And before we really start talking about the program itself, I kind of wanted to set the stage a little bit for the need for the program, where we are with the technology, and also address a little bit about the partnerships that we have on this project. So just a little bit about the sanitation districts at the start here. You can see our service area map. We serve a population of about 5.5 million people when it comes to our wastewater service. We also manage about a quarter to a fifth of the solid waste in LA County as well. But really focusing on our wastewater system, you can see this is a in close view of the lower LA County area. This is one big system that we have. In orange, you can see the water reclamation plants that we have. And of course, we have our big joint water pollution control plant located in Carson, which discharges to the ocean. We're coming up in a couple of years on our 100-year anniversary for the sanitation districts. And we, along with our partners, especially LA County Public Works and the Water Replenishment District, have really pioneered water recycling, not only for California, but for the nation. The Whittier Narrows plant that you see there, right near the Whittier Narrows recreation area, was one of the first plants built specifically for water reclamation. And subsequent to that, we extended our system. And the concept since the early 60s is to utilize water reclamation plants upstream that treat predominantly residential flow and recycle as much of the water as we can. And then our big plant, the Joint Water Pollution Control Plant, would treat wastewaters high in salts and minerals and discharge it to the ocean. And a little bit about that plant. Here's an aerial view of the Joint Water Pollution Control Plant. It treats an average flow of about 260 million gallons per day. That's enough for a population of about 3 million people just in and of itself. You can see that it's connected after treatment. It's connected to the ocean by 2 tunnels. We're actually in the process of building a third. But then we connect out to outfalls and discharge 2 miles off the coast into the ocean at a depth of 200 feet. Our mantra at the districts is we convert waste into resources. So we recognize that there's no more precious resource than water. So we have for many years been looking and working towards a method of recycling this water that's currently going to the ocean. We do a lot of other recycling. We have food waste recycling programs. We generate renewable energy at this site, but up until now, we have been discharging out into the ocean. And so we have this water available. And how much water are we talking about? Well, this chart, and I'll quickly explain it, it shows the flows to our water reclamation plants, and then in yellow is what comes to our main joint water pollution control plant, and this is in millions of gallons per day. Just a couple of things to notice here is that you can see from the 60s on to today the growth in recycled water. Specifically the growth in the amount of recycled and beneficially reused. We recycle and about 100,000 acre feet a year, and that's the bulk of that is groundwater replenishment with the Water Replenishment District and Public Works. But we still have, and hopefully you can see my cursor, this big component in yellow that is being discharged to the ocean. So this is our opportunity here. I do want to mention too, you can see on this that since the 90s and really since 2005, 2006 period, we have seen a significant drop in the water coming to us. And that is because the word and the mission of water conservation inside houses and businesses is getting out there, and we have seen about a 25% drop in our flow. So that is a real positive that the LA County is doing a great job conserving water use, especially inside homes and businesses. But we do know the next drought is just around the corner. This is a compilation of articles dealing not only some recently, but also some from the drought that really occurred back in the 2014-2015 time period. And you can see some of the impacts that drought creates. It reduces the allocation of Colorado River water, state water. It also leads to our groundwater basin that we count on, that so many millions of people count on. Those levels plummet and make it difficult to operate. And as I mentioned, the next drought is just around the corner. So the question really is, the need for a new water supply that can be steady and reliable is there. You'll hear from Devin, our main partner with the Metropolitan Water District, about the technology that's going to be used. So the technology has really improved to the point where it can handle and treat this water and create ultra pure water. And finally, you'll hear from all of our partners that we need to treat, convey, and distribute this water. So that's key. Here, once again, is the aerial. We have a demonstration plan up and running, and my predecessors had the foresight to acquire some property adjacent to the Joint Water Pollution Control Plan about over 20 years ago, knowing that at some point in the future, we might need advanced water treatment. So that kind of, I hope, sets the stage for you as we move on through today's webinar. And here's my information in case anybody has specific questions. By all means, email me, and there's even my telephone number. You can give me a call. So thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much, Robert. And our next panelist is Devin, and I'll be monitoring the time and trying to keep us on schedule. We have a lot to say, and we definitely want to provide opportunity for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. And thanks again to Victor for bringing this together, and thank you to the WELL organization for making this happen today. This is a great opportunity to share with you about this major program that we're working to pull off. I think that the key message here is to make this happen, you need partnership with many different agencies, some of which are on the agenda today. You'll also see that we're actually working to partner with a broad group of other entities that aren't here today to try to make this happen. Very ambitious, and we look forward to sharing this information with you and working with you in partnership to get it done. To start, Metropolitan Water District, who are we? If you look at this graphic, this shows you our member agencies and our service area here in Southern California. 26 member agencies participate through Metropolitan Water District, and we bring imported water supplies to those agencies that you see on this graphic across 6 different counties. We also sponsor major programs to help develop additional local supplies in this region and to promote conservation and reduce water use to become more efficient with the water that we do use. Our service area has about 19 million people in it, and to give you a sense, we provide roughly half of the water that's used in this urban Southern California environment. We're the largest treated water provider in the United States of America. And this graphic gives you a sense of the way our region receives its water supply. So here in Southern California, roughly 45%, sometimes 50%, depending on the year, of the water that is used by businesses and residents in Southern California comes from local sources that are here within the region. Conservation is part of that. Recycled water, like we're talking about today, the biggest chunk is actually groundwater supplies. The other portion of water, the other 50 to 55%, is coming from imported sources through the Metropolitan Water District. You see on this graphic in the north part of California, water that moves through the State Water Project. We're the largest contractor for supply on the State Water Project. That's managed by the Department of Water Resources in the state of California. And we also have our own aqueduct system, the Colorado River Aqueduct System, that comes from the east, shown here. So these are your major supply sources that are providing for the water that's used here in Southern California. What we're discussing today is a tremendous opportunity to increase the amount of water that is coming from recycled water supplies that's sourced here locally within the region. This opportunity would look at 3 uses for this recycled water. The primary use, the largest use, would be to replenish groundwater basins, help stabilize those basins, get this water into the basin, and then it can be pumped later for use to meet the needs of the residents and the businesses that overlie these groundwater basins. The second use is for a smaller portion to be used for industrial use. This is an industry that is potentially served by this project very near the location that Robert just shared with you in those previous graphics. And the final piece, the last phase of the program, would connect directly to our major treatment facilities. That advanced purified water would then move into those treatment facilities and move out through our distribution system, making it to most consumers in Southern California, which is a great opportunity in the long term. To give you a sense of the magnitude, we're talking about a facility that would be one of the largest facilities in the US. It's 150 million gallons a day. To give you a sense, that's about enough water for 500,000 homes to use in a year. Or if you're looking at the number of people per household, it's roughly 1.5 million people that this would serve in our service area. So very ambitious from a scale perspective. Timing wise, we've been working on this with our partners for about 10 years already. And this just gives you a sense of all the steps that we've already taken in this partnership to really prove out that we can get this project done. There's a lot of work that needs to be done going forward, but the concept has been proven out. And the board of the LA County Sanitation District and of Metropolitan Water District just recently at the end of last year approved starting the environmental process, which will take about 3 years, and that's the stage that we're in now on the program. So there are major benefits from this program. Robert touched on some of them. One that I would really highlight is on the left here. All of our imported supply lines to bring water into Southern California cross the San Andreas Fault. So that is a risk for us, and we have a large amount of water in storage facilities that are inside that fault line to protect against that event where we might have those imported lines disrupted because of a major seismic event. Well, a program like this helps to increase the supply produced here within the region inside that fault line, and it increases our reliability and resilience to that kind of event. Obviously, we've already touched on the drought benefits and the ability to replenish our groundwater basins. This program also will have a significant economic boost, both because it increases our reliability of supply. Disruptions in supply have an economic impact, but the very construction of this program will create approximately 40,000 jobs across the construction period of about 10 years. So significant economic activity will be generated as a result of that. And it puts wastewater that currently is going out through an outflow to very good use and being reused for water supply purposes. So this is what the program looks like physically. The light blue lines in the background of this graphic across Southern California, those are our treated water distribution lines. They already exist. The darker blue system is what we refer to as the backbone system for this project. In the lower left-hand corner, you can see it starts at the facility Robert described, the Joint Water Pollution Control Plant. That's where we would be taking the wastewater, treating it through advanced purification processes, and then we would move the water through that backbone system east and north to a number of potential locations where it could be used for groundwater replenishment purposes. The second phase of the program would include additional groundwater replenishment in the lower left-hand corner. It would also show, you can see on the right side of the graphic, you may see some yellow triangles there. Those are 2 filtration plants we already have in existence. They're 2 of the largest filtration plants in the world. You would be able to get the water all the way to those plants. And at that point, the advanced purified water moves through those treatment facilities yet again and into the blue distribution system you see in the background out through most of Southern California for consumers throughout that region. To give you a sense of how that would work, and to another animation here to show you is there's also a potential intertie with the City of Los Angeles's Hyperion plan, whereas they build a very similar treatment system that would provide additional supply for groundwater benefits. There's an intertie that we're contemplating where these 2 systems would interconnect. To give you a sense of the way this works with our partnerships, we have many partners that we're working with that are both helping to make the project physically happen in terms of helping with the construction, would be helping with the management of the water supply, would even be off-takers that would take the raw molecules of the water and help us deliver it. Everyone from Water Replenishment District, the cities of Long Beach and Torrance, we've already signed letters of intent with these agencies. You see in the blue, LA County Flood Control District, and we'll hear from them a little bit later with Mark Pastrella. LA Department of Water and Power, I had mentioned the potential intertie with their program with Hyperion. Main San Gabriel Water Master and our member agencies, 3 Valleys and Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District. We'll hear from them a little bit later on the agenda. And our partner, LA County Sanitation District, obviously helping us at the core to make this project happen. And then the lower right-hand corner, you'll see these acronyms. SNWA is Southern Nevada Water Authority, and Central Arizona Project. These are partners on the Colorado River that are interested in helping to fund this project in return for an exchange of water on the Colorado River with our river supplies. So major partnerships here to make an ambitious program like this happen. This graphic shows you an aerial view of one of our treatment plants. This is the Weymouth treatment plant in the city of Laverne. I hope that some of you may have already been at that facility and been able to tour that facility. But what this shows you on the right is that in blue, we receive state water project supplies there. In the yellow, we also receive Colorado River supplies. So we receive a blend of supplies that then move through this treatment plant. And the concept is that ultimately we would also receive the red supplies from this advanced purification facility. So you'd be blending 3 different supplies together, moving them through that treatment plant. And what the green shows, the green line here going south, is that water could also move to one of our other treatment plants and move through that treatment plant. So a true integrated system that we would be able to accomplish with this concept. In terms of cost, this graphic shows you that the black line it's roughly $1,800 per acre foot of water. It's roughly in line with the other major local supply sources that can be developed here within the region. In fact, it's lower cost than some. There's always a range for those sources based on the specific project that's being developed. But this project is in line with those costs. The total cost estimate for both phases of the program is roughly $3.5 billion. And those were estimates in 2018. I want you to know that as part of the environmental process that we're undertaking over the next 3 years, we'll be updating all of those cost estimates as we hone in on the specific alignments and the specific treatment trains that would be used to make this project happen. And you can also see the job creation associated with this kind of work. This is the schedule that we face here. The yellow dot at the very top shows the board approval of our 2 agencies starting the environmental work. In the beige below that, that's the timeline for developing this environmental impact report that will extend all the way to 2024. We have a demonstration plant. I'm going to show you a picture of that is already running right now. That's proving out the treatment processes. And then you can see the design work, the construction, and ultimately bringing this facility online in the early 2030s. That's the time frame we're looking at. I wanted to share with you very quickly, this is our Advanced Purification Center. This is there. It's been built at the Joint Water Pollution Control Plant. It's a large demonstration facility. And our vision for this is it's used to help work with the regulatory community in the state of California to get approval for the full-scale project, but it's also an education center. And I know that during COVID-19, we're not able to have the physical on-site tours available, but we've converted everything to online tours. We would love to host you in those tour events. And we have a couple coming up on the upcoming Tuesday here later in February on the 23rd. We have an English tour that we're hosting. And on Thursday, February 25th, we have a Spanish tour that we're hosting. You can see the link here. Hopefully that's an opportunity for you to go to that link and to register to participate in the virtual tours. And I certainly look forward to a day where we're actually able to host the physical tours again to get you out there and to work with you to understand the processes, answer questions. And it's a real great opportunity to see the way this facility would work. Finally, this is our site for the Regional Recycle Water Program and that Advanced Purification Center. At this site, if you're interested in learning more about what the program looks like, the education opportunities, the different opportunities to weigh in on the environmental process as we carry that out, you'll be able to see that here at this website. So I'm really happy to share this information with you today. Thanks again to WELL for making this opportunity happen. And I look forward to engaging with you in the Q&A a little bit later. Martha, back to you.
Great. Thank you very much, Devin. Again, if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and enter them, type them in on our Q&A. Next speaker will be Mark Pestrella, Director of the Los Angeles County Department of Public Works. Mark.
Let's see. Good morning, everybody. I'm assuming you can see me, Martha?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Well, first of all, I want to thank the WELL organization for inviting our agency to partner.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. And then we have Victor and Lily.
Okay, there we go. And again, I want to thank Victor and the WELL organization for inviting LA County Public Works to sponsor and to participate in today's webinar. The department's a proud agency that in our representation of all the communities of Los Angeles County, and WELL is a very, very good opportunity for us to educate elected officials as well as the general community about their water. And today we're going to talk about your water portfolio locally, what it looks like, and particularly what we might be able to do to improve our resiliency by increasing the amount of water that we essentially generate locally. And that's by taking advantage of the recycled water that's generated daily in LA County rather than having it go off to the ocean. So I'm going to cover a little bit today about myself, just quickly introduction, but also our department's jurisdictional area, what our role is. Many people aren't familiar with how things work, how water moves in Los Angeles County, and particularly how LA County Public Works is a partner in that and a major player in how water moves through LA County. And then a little bit about our role in accomplishing this really, really great opportunity in this great project. And I also want to thank our project partners that are on the line today and providing the presentation. So our department, Los Angeles County Department of Public Works, is a very large department. It's the largest public works department in the United States. We serve 10 million people daily in LA County with a service area that covers all of the county of Los Angeles. Yeah, you can put slide 2 if you want. And this is a map of our service area. Although it doesn't show Catalina Island, it does include Catalina Island as well as all of the 88 cities in LA County and the unincorporated communities. And again, that constitutes about 10 million people and over 4,000 square miles of land area. We are in the state of California, the largest county with respect to in terms of population that we serve. And of course, I know most of you will know this, being elected officials, the county is overseen by the County Board of Supervisors, 5 supervisors. In a historic time right now with the supervisors all being female, it's really quite a time to be serving and an exciting time to be serving with a progressive look at natural resource management and equity being a very large driver of what we, the policies that the board is adopting in LA County. And it's my pleasure to be the director of the department. I've been there for 4 years. I was appointed in 2017. I've been the director for 4 years, but I've been at the department for over 35 years and came up through the department through the water resources arena. But as I said, the department is a full service public works department. We have 6 core service areas that we operate in. They include solid waste management, transportation, transit, development review, building and safety review, emergency management. We're the county's builder, capital improvement project management, and the business area that we're going to talk about today is water resources management. So when it comes to water resource management, the department has been in the business for well over 100 years in the form of your Los Angeles County Flood Control District. So the Flood Control District is a component of the Department of Public Works. The Flood Control District, as I said, was formed over 100 years ago with the mission to protect the citizens of Los Angeles County from the devastating effects of flooding, while at the same time co-equally goal of capturing and conserving the waters of Los Angeles County for highest and best use. And of course, that includes water conservation and replenishment of waters as we capture them from each watershed in Los Angeles County. The map in front of you, which is really small here, I wish it was bigger, actually shows the system, the assets that are maintained by LA County Flood Control. It's, as we said, a vast system. You can go to slide 3. The system includes, and interesting enough, many elected officials and many citizens in Los Angeles County aren't aware that the Public Works Department maintains 14 major dams in Los Angeles County. This is a picture of Morris Dam, and you see the water behind it. About 50,000 acre feet are stored there annually. There's 14 major dams, as I said, 620 miles of open channel in which we convey flood flows and also convey water to facilities like our next slide, to spreading grounds. So if you go to slide 4, you'll see a picture of the Pocoma spreading grounds in Los Angeles County, the Sun Valley area. We put this picture up to give you all an example of how we can move water through the system. Luckily, back in the day, major investments were made by the Flood Control District in obtaining these open lands throughout LA County. In fact, we have 27 such spreading facilities in Los Angeles County. And the purpose of these spreading facilities is to divert stormwater from the mountains, from the drainage when it rains, into these spreading facilities. We fill them up, as you can see here, this one's full of water. And over a period of time, 3 to 7 days, the water that's in these basins percolate into the ground. And there was a graphic earlier showing water going into the groundwater basins in Los Angeles County. This replenishes the water stored underground in Los Angeles County, which is later used for drinking water supply. And it's pulled up by a number of agencies that have water rights throughout the basin. The other really fortunate use of these spreading grounds is we also can move imported water into the system and put that water in the ground for later use. And we have been increasing the amount of recycled water that we put into the system. So currently, we move about 10% of the county's water is replenished through the system from recycled water sources. And again, it's a great way of storing water, first below ground, but also it's a great way of cleansing the water from pollutants. One of the best ways to clean water and make it ready for use is to run it through the sediment that is underground in Los Angeles County, which has been built up through the millennium to become this really, really great filter. Of course, the water is pumped later and cleaned again, as Devin was just describing, to the point that it becomes perfectly great, low-cost water for LA County and for the region's use. So this system of dams with storage behind the dam for flood, as well as water supply, the channel system, as I described to you, over 620 miles open channel, which includes like the LA River and the San Gabriel River, the Rio Hondo River system. These all work together to create a replenishment system in LA County that's maintained by the Department of Public Works here in Los Angeles County. And again, that system is supplying about 50% of the water for LA County currently, or is involved in the supply of that water. And the other 50% or so is coming from imported places around the state, brought in from Metropolitan Water District. The Let's go to the next slide. The thing that, why is LA County involved? Well, you see we've got this assets involved, and how are we involved? Interesting enough, from a monetary standpoint, all the water I'm showing you in these pictures, not one drop of this water is actually owned by LA County or the Flood Control District or Public Works. It's actually all prescribed water to the water retailers and in the area who have water rights through LA County. It's governed by over 200 water retailers and water replenishment agencies. Rob Whitaker will be on next. So it was really fortuitous that LA County developed a flood control system that had this co-equal goal of improving the flood protection for the county, but also had this provision to capture stormwater for higher use. And we charge about $28 per residential unit in LA County. It's a very cheap price for the benefit of protecting all of LA County from flooding and again, capturing water and replenishing it. The capital improvement costs to improve this system have also been shared with the agencies that are on the call today or on the webinar today and many others. So as we build out more of our water conservation, we do get partnership with other agencies. And we'll be doing the same thing here with this project, where the county flood control district will not only physically participate, but we'll also be making investments, capital investments that will allow for storage of the water as it moves through the system. And our operations will be involved as we put the water into the ground as well. So those investments and that small amount of money that every residential property owner is paying every year is really getting a good bang for its buck here in LA County. Our vision for LA County's water is that we will have safe, clean, and reliable water for all. That is a driver for everything that we make investments in LA County. In fact, part of our portfolio is to serve water as well. In fact, LA County, our waterworks district, is the third largest water retailer in the region, serving over a quarter of a million people annually water. So we got a lot of hands in the water these days in LA County flood control, but we do it behind the scenes. Most people don't know what it is. You might be driving on the freeways, the 210 freeway, on the 5, the 605, and you see the river system, and you might even see these rubber dam system up occasionally, the water served. Just think of LA County. When you see that open water running through LA County, through our rivers and that's your flood control district maintaining.
Okay, Mark, I'm sorry to cut you off, but thank you. I think let's move on to Rob, and then, like I said, please put in questions. And I'm definitely interested in hearing from the Director Pastrella about the LA County Water Plan. So anyway, we'll have a chance to talk a little bit about that also. Okay, Rob.
Thank you, Martha. I also want to thank Robert and Victor for putting this together and allowing us all to share information about this very, very important effort. And I wanted to talk today, as Mark mentioned, and Robert and Devin mentioned, WRD is a partner in many of these efforts because we manage the groundwater supplies in southern LA County for about 43 cities. I'll give you a quick overview before I talk about what we're doing in terms of our role in all of this as a partner. We cover 420 square miles, 43 cities, 4 million residents. Groundwater makes up half the water supply in our region. The other half is water that's imported from the Bay Delta and the Colorado River through Metropolitan Water District, and WRD replenishes those basins. Both the Central and West Coast Basin in Southern LA County. The reason we exist is the amount of water that's allowed to be pumped from our service area.
Rob, I'm sorry, do you want your slides? You want to share your screen, or were you not at that point yet?
Oh, I thought I did. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, if you can please, share your screen, and that way we can see
I
slides.
Apologize. Let me do that. I don't see the choice to do that.
Oh, okay, to share the screen. Brianne, can you help Rob?
Here we go.
Okay, if you can pull up Rob's presentation, that'd be great.
Can you see it now?
Sorry, I'm having some issues too. Give me 1 second. Make sure we have the right one. There we go.
Yes, that's it.
Go ahead, Rob.
Great, thank you. Sorry about that. Again, in our region, we've got 43 cities, 4 million people. Groundwater makes up half of the water supply. And I was starting to say that WRD exists because the amount of water that's allowed to be produced in southern LA County in both the central and west coast groundwater basins is provided under an adjudication that set pumping rights in our basin. And those pumping rights were set at more than double what Mother Nature can sustain. So WRD was created to replenish, supplement the natural replenishment, and allow for those pumping rights to continue in the future. In 2004, WRD created what we call our Water Independence Now, or WIN program. And what we wanted to do is leverage what we had done in the past in terms of working with others and building projects on our own to utilize more local water resources. We've worked with the County Department of Public Works to use more stormwater, and the biggest local resource that we've really been able to tap into with largest potential has been recycled water. So our WIN program identified what it would take to go from where we had been, and if you look in the lower right-hand corner, up from 1959 when we were created all the way up to 2004, we had been increasing our use of recycled water and allowing us to decrease our use of imported water for groundwater replenishment. WIN identified the final efforts that would be needed to get us to the point where we could be completely locally sustainable in terms of replenishing our groundwater supplies. And I'm happy to say that in 2018, we finished the final component of that, which is our ARC project in Pico Rivera. And now the water supply, the groundwater supply in our region is completely locally sustainable through stormwater and recycled water. What we wanted to do is take those efforts and look at what we could do regionally to help leverage our WIN successes. And what we looked at through the possibility of partnerships with county sanitation districts, MWD, the County Public Works, and even City of LA with our Hyperion plant, is to look at ways that we could utilize the groundwater resources even more. And fairly recently, in about 2013, 2014 time range, the pumpers and WRD were able to work together. It took us about 15 years to put this together, but we were able to amend these groundwater adjudications that allowed for the pumping rights to be able to tap into the empty space in the basin. And that's a big deal because we have almost 500,000 acre-feet of empty space in the basin that can be used to take these local resources, put that into the ground, use that empty space as a reservoir, and as Mark and Devin and Robert have talked about, pump that water back out of the ground, and it could be a drinking water source of supply. So the project we're talking about today is a very big part of that. It would provide local resources that would help us to utilize that space in the basin to create more local resources and increase our local sustainability.
I'm sorry, Rob, I hate to interrupt you, but I think we're having technical difficulties here. But what slide are you in? Is this, are you okay here? And Brianne, can you try to click on the PDF and make it bigger? It's on the top left side, maybe the little box. There's a couple of little boxes. Maybe, yeah, click on that. Click on each frame and then see if you can page down. I'm sorry. Okay, Rob, let's see which one were you in?
I am on this one.
On the ones the ones on the screen? Okay. Yeah, and if you can go, it's to the top left. See if we can, oh, I don't know why can't we not? It's just a PDF. Okay. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. Just technical difficulties here.
Yeah, the slides I received are PDF. I don't see a full screen button, so I don't know what you all can see, but this is what I've received on my end.
We can't share screen while you're sharing screen, Brianne. If you can stop sharing, I'll try to share ours.
Okay, Rob, sorry about that.
That's okay. I am happy to be the problem child for the day. Can you see it now?
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay, thanks. So basically, the bottom line is with our WIN program being successful for us in terms of groundwater replenishment, we've leveraged that into what we're calling our WIN for All program. And we're looking at using even more local resources through the project that we're talking about today and others to utilize that empty space in the basin and create even more local water resources that are completely locally sustainable. I mentioned that in our region, we've got about 450,000 acre feet, almost 500,000 acre feet of storage space in the basin. Our imported water demand in our basin is about 250,000 acre feet per year. And if you look at the two purple stacked bars in the middle of this graphic, you can see that the Regional Recycled Water Program, the 150,000 MGD that they're looking at, and also Hyperion, the water reclamation plant at Hyperion, the LA City mayor talked about reusing all of that water in the next 25 years or so. So when you look at that, along with the groundwater storage space availability we have, which is the gold stacked bar chart, we've got the opportunity to completely replace the imported demand for water within our region, which would allow that water to be used for other areas that don't have the opportunity to create groundwater storage. And it could even provide for additional water resources that could be used in dry periods within our region and outside our region. So we're very enthused about where this project can go in conjunction with the amount of storage space we have in our basins to make that increased recycled water source available as a local drinking water source through the groundwater basins.
So great timing, great timing, Rob. Thank you so much. Now, Jennifer, you're on.
Great, thank you. All right, let me share my screen here. Hopefully we can get that going. Okay.
Okay, I can see your screen, Jennifer.
Excellent. Okay, here we go. So hi, everyone. Thank you, Martha. I'm Jennifer Santana. I am the one of the directors for the Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District. I'm going to be continuing the conversation from a customer perspective, the customer being Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District, and why we're so excited about the Regional Recycled Water Program. Let's see. So I wanted to give you a little background information about our agency. We are located just east of Pasadena. We are a 5-member board. We have about 18 cities and almost 1 million people that we service. Total water demand for us is 200,000 acre feet, and of that, imported water is about 30,000 acre feet. We are a Met member agency. So here is a breakdown of where we get our water supply and our water needs for our area. About 20% of that water is imported, which is pretty good. 80% is local water. On the left, you can see a picture of the State Water Project, and on the right, this is one of our areas. This is a dam that you can see right here, Morris Dam up in the San Gabriel Mountains, and right here is our connection to the State Water Project. This flow right here is called USG3. That's where our imported water flows in through. So even though it's only 20% that we're relying on, it's a very important 20%. Here we have, I'm going to go over a couple of slides about where we get our local water, or our local water supply. So here you have this graph showing our annual rainfall going back to about 2001. This dark line in the center, horizontal line, is our average rainfall, and the blue columns are our rainfall per year. So you can see the trend has been kind of going down as we've gone through times of drought. And this year is also kind of shaping up to not be a wet year, unfortunately. But it's still new. We haven't finished compiling the data for 2021, so it's not as dire as it looks at 11%. But the good news about all of this is thanks to our geography, thanks to our dam systems, our groundwater storage, we're able to capture about 95% of our stormwater. This graph here is showing our basin level. So this is our underground water measurements. This goes back to 1997. And again, you can see the trend of it kind of going downwards as we have less rainfall. This red line here is the minimum level we would want for a healthy basin. Once you go below 200,000 acre feet in elevation, then you're looking at wells that could dry up, sand in the wells. So we want to keep it above this red line. The dark blue area under this graph is our local rainfall. This is called the natural key well elevation. And the light blue is the imported water. So another thing that you can see is we are becoming more dependent to keep that level at a healthy basin level in recent years. Yep. So how do we do that? How do we drought-proof the basin? Well, we have different ways of doing that. One is our regional cyclic storage agreement. And this is a historic agreement made between us and several other agencies, water master producers, done in the late 90s, and between Metropolitan Water and us. And this brings in water for storage into our basin during times that we need it to help keep that level at a healthy level. So we have a total capacity of about 100,000 acre feet that we can store in our basin to help ensure that our levels don't drop too low. Other ways that we drought-proof our basin, we have recycled water projects, local recycled water projects. This is non-potable water. We use this for watering lawns, at Rose Hills, we have one, and we have about 24 miles of pipeline there. So this really helps to keep us above. Also, we have a really great and award-winning water conservation effort. We were 2020 Partners of the Year with WaterSense because we've done such a good job at working on water conservation. So an example of that would be our plant voucher program. And we offer residents $250 to purchase certain plants that are beautiful and also drought tolerant, which in turn uses less water in our area. Here's a graph which shows just how good our water conservation efforts and local recycled water efforts are. So on the bottom, you can see the yellow area is our increasing population. And of course, this is from 1992. Of course, we have gone up in population in the San Gabriel Valley. And then the blue columns are our average use of water or water usage per capita. So this is really great because you can see that the trend is going down, meaning that people are using less water on average. So our conservation efforts have been paying off, which has its effects on our ability for flows, right? Because when the water conservation is so good. Now, we had worked on an indirect water reuse replenishment project that was going to go up a little bit higher on the sanitation trail. However, the flows were too low, so we had to ditch that project. And then we found that MWD's Regional Recycled Water Project was a really great fit. So we are really proud to have possibly 40,000 acre feet per year delivered to our basin, and we sent a letter of intent on March 11th, 2020. And just in conclusion, regarding the water quality. So we've heard in the news a lot of talk about PFAS, other chemicals of concern. And as mentioned, there's several different processes that will be used at this plant, and that the pilot plant actually has these that show really good promising results in removing these toxins from the water to produce a clean water product. And with that, if there are any questions, please feel free to reach out and visit our website.
Jennifer, thank you so much. Perfect tee-in to this next. I know we're trying to be mindful of people's time, but we do have a few questions that have come up. So I think if our panelists want to turn on their video so that we can see them, and let's go through. So one of the questions was, will there be a service fee to the recycled water users? So I think that question here, maybe using the water for this project, that's a question for Devin.
Thanks, Martha. So to give everybody some background, when Metropolitan does projects like, say, the Diamond Valley Lake project that we did about 20 years ago, we tend to take the cost of that project and incorporate it into our overall rate structure. And then everybody that is receiving water from our systems then pays a little portion of that because it's benefiting everyone. The board has not made a decision yet on the way that we would recover costs, but I give that as an example because in the white papers we've done to talk with our board, we've suggested that that's the model that we should do. So basically recognize that this project benefits anybody that is receiving deliveries or water from the Metropolitan system. And so everybody is sharing in the cost when they buy water from Met. That's the way we're envisioning it.
Great, thank you, Devin. And actually there's a question that you touched a little bit about in terms of who gets the water, and then Jennifer talked a little bit about the safety. So here, I'm gonna read the question, and I think we can follow up with Mr. Rodriguez with additional information. I think that might be a good opportunity to engage a public consumer. So here's this question. Since I am a public consumer, I wanted to know, once the project is completed, how would I know what percentage of this advanced treated recycled water discharge would be allocated to my area? Secondly, I have a general understanding of the science and concepts being used for this project, but for the public consumers who might not have a firm grasp, how would their fears or even resistance to use of this former ocean discharge be addressed? I am asking since nowadays the public seems to be nervous about new technology, and how safe is the product being consumed?
So Martha, I can start with that. I would just hold up as an example the program that Rob's agency has done, the program that has been executed down in Orange County, the Orange County Water District, as examples of the way you can do wonderful replenishment projects that highly treat water, that deal with the constituents that we all care about, that we're worried about, clean that water up, get it into the groundwater, and then it can be used over a period of time, really protecting public health. So I think that's the model that we're working to follow. The portion of the question about how much is allocated to a given area, you see the distribution system that we showed on the graphics. That's a physical system that will take water to various groundwater basins. But I like to view it in the whole. And when you think about it in the whole, as a region, we'll be moving from roughly 45% of the water we use being sourced locally to actually closer to 60 to 65% in the next 20 years. So our goal is to increase the local supplies. That leads to more reliability. This project is one of them. There are many other projects that actually we talked a little bit about today that are all part of that solution.
And maybe if I can just add to that answer too, as Devin pointed out, we have been doing the groundwater augmentation, if you will, replenishment since the early 60s. You know, Mark mentioned the benefits of that additional treatment, and that has worked well. So people are already, if you don't know it, drinking water, recycled water that has gone into the replenishment system. And secondly, and I think Devin pointed out that we have a demonstration facility and we have those tours, and we recognize the need to kind of educate and outreach to the public in terms of the treatment standards that are going to be met and the regulatory approvals for this water. So I encourage anyone, if they have the opportunity, to do the virtual tour and to come out and see it. There's going to be ample opportunities and ample time to get the word out, not only about how the system's going to work, but how it's protective of public health.
So there was also a question on who owns the recycled water from the plant. And I guess I can answer that question. The sanitation district owns that recycled water. That water will be provided to Metropolitan. We will have a contract, but ultimately, you know, we are providing water and land for this project. So with that, we allotted an hour to this webinar, and we really appreciate the attendance. We really appreciate the time that our panelists have put into this, their leadership on this project. This is only the beginning of a conversation for this project. And please, everyone in our audience, if you have questions, you know, you can contact WELL staff. You know, this presentation will be posted. All the slides will be available. And like I said, we're starting the environmental process. There'll be lots of opportunity to engage with us. If you have any questions, please, please reach out to us. With that, I also want to thank WELL for their leadership, for basically setting up this webinar, and for everything that they do to help inform our elected officials about these very important water topics and challenges that we have to deal with. So with that, I'll turn it over to Victor.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you for all the panelists and sponsors. I do want to acknowledge that Jennifer Santana is one of our WELLO leaders. She's part of the Untapped Fellowship Program, and the idea is to get elected officials more knowledgeable, and her being an elected water director, she participates in our education and training programs. I also like to acknowledge our staff, Brianna Logosa, and our board member, Miguel Luna, for help coordinating and leading the webinar today. And particularly a shout out to Rob Whitaker and the Replenishment District. They were one of our first, I think the actual first sponsor of a WELL event. And so I want to acknowledge Rob, and Metropolitan Water was also one of our first sponsors the very first year. And we're excited to partner now with the Public Works Department, with the sanitation districts, and our continued relationship also with Upper San Gabriel. So thank you all, and have a good day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.